Of course, predicting the future is always, there's always some uncertainty about what you predict in the future, but I feel pretty confident in saying that the third runway will not cause dolphins to go extinct in the area. We do feel, and we did assess in the EIA, that there will likely be several negative impacts of the third runway project during the construction phase and also during the operational phase. There may be some negative impacts from the project, but we feel that majority of, especially the construction phase impacts, are likely to be temporary impacts, and we think that what will happen is after the construction phase is finished and the airport becomes operational, or the third runway becomes operational, that a lot of those negative impacts will disappear, or at least become much less. And we expect that dolphins will most likely move back into the area. We started doing intensive surveys in September of 1995, and what we found is that during the latter stages of that airport construction, and in particular the development of the aviation fuel facility at Shachau, that involved percussive piling, and we were quite concerned about what impact that would have on the dolphins. So we did a series of intensive surveys during that time period to look at the effects of that. And what we saw is a pretty sharp drop in numbers of dolphins around North Lantau during that latter phase of airport construction, where there was a lot of noise in the water. But what we saw is, as soon as the airport construction finished in 1998, dolphin numbers went back up again to very close to what they were at the start of that period of our monitoring. So we see that as a very useful example of what we can expect to see happen in a situation like this with the third runway construction. And we do expect to see a similar type situation. Again, we need to make sure that the habitat for the dolphins is healthy to move back to. We also have to remember that the airport construction for Cheklap-Kok involved some methods that at the time we didn't realize that they might be so harmful to dolphins. But it involved a number of techniques that we think are more harmful to dolphins than the methods that are likely to be used for the third runway. So the third runway development is designed specifically to make use of techniques that are less noisy, less damaging, less harmful to dolphins. Avoiding as much as possible dredging and filling, avoiding percussive piling, avoiding explosive removal. We feel that there are certain measures that need to be taken to protect dolphins in Hong Kong in the long term, and to make sure that dolphins can survive in Hong Kong in the long term. And the most prominent of those measures is to try to get as much of their habitat protected from activities that might be detrimental to them, and that generally means trying to set up marine parks, marine reserves, and things like that. Myself and Dr. Bernd Wursig, he's going to be in Hong Kong, I think, on Wednesday. He and I have sort of been a team of dolphin experts to provide advice and information to the airport authority during the process of this EIA study. And of course that involved using our experience and knowledge of this particular group of dolphins from our own previous experience, as well as our knowledge of the marine mammal literature, and also doing some field research on dolphins here in Hong Kong as part of the EIA study. Of course, we work very closely with the EIA and their consultants, Mott MacDonald, on the EIA report, and we had quite a bit of peer review during the process, including by a number of government departments, AFCD, EPD, Marine Department, and there was also an independent review by a consultant, ERM, to provide input on the EIA as well. And so that all of that, integrated into producing the EIA document.